Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 7 a.m.
Breaking news, a crime scene at a Seminole County home. The answers we're working to get right now after a reported shooting.
Plus, one of the people arrested with Osceola County's now suspended sheriff bonds out of jail her alleged ties to an illegal gambling operation and why Marcos Lopez remains locked up. Also ahead.
Just trying to express our concerns and then they start shooting at us.
Protests against ICE raids expand to more American cities, what President Trump is now vowing to do to keep the peace. Good morning on your Tuesday. It is 7 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Warmouth. Trooper Steve watching the roads on this Tuesday, but we do want to start with meteorologist Julie Broughton. She's in for Candace, and she has your forecast.
Yes, we are talking about some more heat and some more widespread showers as we move through the day for our Tuesday. We have seen lower than normal rain chances for the last couple of days. All of that changes for us today. But first, look at this. This is just a beautiful shot of the sun rising there in Brevard County. Our Launch Credit Union camera in Port Canaveral showing right now nothing. No temperatures coming in right now, but we are all starting the day in the mid to upper 70s. Actually, some of you already creeping into the 80s. It is 81 right now in Cocoa Beach, 78 in Claremont, and it is 76 if you are in Ocala. Satellite and radar imagery showing most of us are seeing clear skies. Now you'll notice some showers off to our north. That's along with a system that's not actually going to make it into central Florida. Our showers today will be thanks to our sea breezes. We will go to a high today of 93 in Orlando. If you're in Ocala, you'll top out at 94 and 92 today in Palm Coast. Normal high this time of year is 91. When you factor in the relative humidity, it will feel like the low 100s. And check out these guys, Fenway and Louie, with your hour-by-hour forecast showing 83 degrees at 10 o'clock, 85 degrees at 11 o'clock. I love dogs wearing ties on a Tuesday. In just a few minutes, we will break down your showers and thunderstorms for you hour by hour. But first, let's head to Trooper Steve with a check of the roads.
Listen, I'll take dogs on a Monday,
Absolutely.
a Tuesday, a Wednesday. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got some good news for you. John Young Parkway is back open this morning. So we were shut down for the first 2 hours of our morning show right there at State Road 408 right here. But now we are all clear. 408's looking good. John Young Parkway's looking good. Unfortunately, 3 people transported from that crash, but all minor injuries from what I'm told. But all your lanes are back open there, and you don't need to detour at Old Winter Garden. Downtown Orlando. I don't have beautiful sunrise shots like Julie does, but I can show you the sun shining off of a hotel. If that works. I-4 looking good. Crown Plaza Hotel with nice shine out there. No problems east or westbound. Justin.
Thank you, Steve. We're following some breaking news out of Seminole County. That's where deputies are on the scene of a deadly shooting. This is all happening at a home on Forest Lake Drive. It's off State Road 436, not far from Altamont Springs. News 6's Mark Lehman is there live. And Mark, you just got some new information?
Yeah, it was just in the last 20 minutes. Investigators confirmed that one person was shot and killed in this shooting that happened here last night in this neighborhood. You can see the home is surrounded by crime scene tape. There's a deputy watching over the property as well, likely keeping it secure for a crime scene investigator. And we also have that evidence marker in the driveway. Now, we know deputies were called to the scene on Forest Lake Drive around 8 o'clock, and that's when the victim was found. And we're told that person was taken to the hospital, but later pronounced dead. Deputies say they don't think this was a random act, but they're also not saying anything about a possible suspect. Right now, we're working to learn more details about that, as well as information about the victim in this. The sheriff's office at this point is not saying if that victim is a man or a woman, but they do say that person is an adult. As soon as we learn any more details, we will let you know. For now, reporting live in Seminole County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thanks. This morning, suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez remains locked up, but one of the women tied to the same illegal gambling case that Lopez is now back on the street after posting bond late last night. News 6's Angie Casada is live outside the Lake County Jail. And Angie, we're now hearing about even more shakeups inside the sheriff's office.
Hey, Crystal, yeah, that's absolutely right. There's at least 2 other people in the sheriff's office that have been let go following the arrest of Marcos Lopez. Meantime, he's waking up here at the Lake County Jail for the 5th day in a row, just hours after one of his co-defendants walked free.
Justice will be served.
Sharon Federick, one of the co-defendants in this massive illegal gambling case that led to Sheriff Marcos Lopez's arrest, walked out of the Lake County Jail Monday night, refusing to answer questions from reporters. Her release follows that of co-defendant Carol Coate, who bonded out Friday.
Could you tell me your name, please?
Marcos R. Lopez.
Meanwhile, Lopez remains held on a $1 million bond. He's facing racketeering charges, accused of using his position as sheriff to shield the gambling operation, which prosecutors say brought in more than $20 million in just 5 years. And the arrest has led to more fallout at the sheriff's office, specifically the firing of executive director Nirva Rodriguez. She said in a statement yesterday, termination was a, quote, separate matter from the suspension of the sheriff by Governor DeSantis. And News 6 has confirmed that Ruben De Jesus, who is a special events manager for the sheriff's office, was also let go, but at this time we don't know the details for that. Again, as for Lopez, we checked and no new court hearings are set for later today. Of course, any updates that happen, we'll be sure to let you know here on air and clickorlando.com. Reporting live in Lake County, Angie Quesada, News 6.
Angie, thanks. Also developing another volatile night on the streets of Los Angeles. Police again clashing with protesters over the ongoing operation by ICE to round up immigrants. President Trump has now authorized deploying more troops to that area.
And that's despite California leaders saying they don't want them. Reporter Naomi Ruckham is following the overnight developments.
The Pentagon is mobilizing 700 Marines and 2,000 additional National Guard troops to Los Angeles as anti-ICE protests stretch into a 5th day.
The introduction of federal military personnel without direct coordination creates logistical challenges and risks confusion during critical incidents.
Protests have also spread to other parts of California.
We need to get people out here,
as well as states around the country. Meanwhile, escalating tensions in LA have stoked a political clash between California Governor Gavin Newsom and the Trump administration. President Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan has threatened the arrest of anyone who obstructs federal authorities, including Newsom, prompting this reaction from the president.
Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing.
Newsom, in an interview, called on the White House to arrest him and, quote, just get it over with. The state has sued over the deployment of federal troops, calling it an unprecedented power grab. The White House says it's necessary to protect federal property. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
New this morning, more than a dozen men are facing charges accused of trying to meet up with minors for sex in Volusia County.
Put your hands up. Do not reach in there, dude. Stop.
The sheriff's office rounded up 14 suspects during a 3-day operation over the weekend. Undercover detectives posed as 13 to 15-year-old boys, then exchanged messages before agreeing to meet up. One of the suspects, 25-year-old Moshe Juarez, is facing additional charges for allegedly driving into a deputy, fracturing his leg. Deputies say another suspect, Julio Chavarria, is a Nicaraguan national who is now being held on an ICE detainer.
In Brevard County, a broken pipe that spilled raw sewage for hours in Palm Bay has now been repaired, but the cleanup from the big mess continues. The 20-inch pipe broke yesterday along Clearmont Street. While the city says the drinking water is safe, the sewage did make its way into Turkey Creek, which feeds the Indian River Lagoon, leaving many residents concerned.
I'm really worried about this area back here because we have a lot of turtles, we have a lot of rabbits, we have bobcats in this area, so I'm really concerned about the animals back here.
It's a mess. I don't know what they're going to do about it.
A contractor brought in vacuum trucks to try and get some of the spill cleaned up, but people are being urged to avoid Turkey Creek and surrounding waterways until further notice.
New this morning, a Central Florida lawmaker says a deal has been reached to keep some critical education funding in place in the state budget. Earlier this year, lawmakers proposed cutting funding for advanced classes by up to 50%. That led to worries districts would have to scale back offerings. But Central Florida State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith posted online last night that the Senate has agreed to keep those programs 100% funded by just tweaking how the money is allocated. That matches a House plan that was proposed last week.
Happening today, voters in Brevard County will be headed to the polls for a special election. It's actually open right now. 2 seats in the Florida legislature are up for grabs, including Senate District 19. Republican Debbie Mayfield is facing off against Democrat Vance Aarons. This was the seat held by Randy Fine before he resigned to run for Congress. Now, Mayfield was the representative from House District 32, but when she ran for Senate, that seat also opened up. Republican Brian Hodgers and Democrat Juan Hinojosa are facing off in that race. The polls will be open until 7 o'clock.
We'll have to wait at least one more day before the next crewed rocket launch from our coast. SpaceX was originally hoping to launch the all-private Axiom 4 mission this morning. But because of bad weather on the ascent path for the Falcon 9, that's been moved to no earlier than tomorrow. The 4-person crew is headed to the space station with plans to conduct dozens of experiments there. Now, if the launch is tomorrow, it would happen at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll, of course, have that for you live on News 6 and clickorlando.com. And speaking of the launch, let's take a look at that launch forecast. Meteorologist Julie Broughton is in for Candace. 80% is pretty good.
Yeah, 80% chance of our weather here along our Space Coast cooperating. So I think we'll be in good shape here in Central Florida with temperatures at 79 degrees, low wind shear. And we're looking at the potential of a few isolated showers. But again, overall, our forecast looking good. Still along that ascent recovery area, looking at moderate conditions. So we still could be talking about elevated winds as well as the chance of some showers and thunderstorms. So hopefully we will see a nice, beautiful launch from our coast tomorrow morning. Here's how it looks for you right now as we take a live look outside in Daytona Beach. Looking so beautiful out there. Admiring the sun, 75 degrees with that mix of sun and clouds right now. Now we're at 76 in Kissimmee. If you're stepping out the door in Claremont or Leesburg, you are at 78 degrees right now. It is 72 in Wildwood, and Melbourne and Mico both checking in at 78 degrees. Now we'll heat things up quickly today, and we'll also see showers starting a little bit earlier than they had the last few days. Satellite and radar imagery showing partly cloudy skies, but already we're seeing a few showers moving onshore along the west coast of Florida. So we can't rule out a few isolated showers this morning in our western counties. But then as we head into the afternoon hours, we will be tracking more widespread showers and storms with rain really firing up around 12, 1 o'clock this afternoon. It will feel like the triple digits once again. We'll break all of this down for you hour by hour and check out the next 7 days coming up. But first, let's head to Trooper Steve with a check of the roads.
Roadways doing nice this morning after that earlier mess, but I-4 out here by the attractions. This puts us on top of Sand Lake. Looking eastbound, you can see Volcano Bay in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Your ramps out here are open. Sand Lake is moving, and there are no crashes to give to you this morning. Sand Lake east and westbound, no problems, but I did notice a little hot spots along like Destination, Orangewood, things like that. So be careful as you head towards Epic Universe and the attractions area. Southbound 535 as you come into that dead end there into Earlo Bronson Memorial Highway. No major issues out there this morning. Slight delay. Increase the following distance and we'll be good to go. You know it's a good day when Poinciana Boulevard has 0 delays as northbound as you approach US 192 in that area. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Coming up, vandals strike at a local state park.
The plea workers are making this morning just weeks after the end of a multi-million-dollar renovation. Plus, it's the big debut when you could visit SeaWorld Orlando to see the world's largest penguins.
And more possible changes when it comes to safety in downtown Orlando. What business owners are now doing to avoid ending alcohol sales after midnight. You're watching News 6 Mornings. We'll be right back.
Through this morning, workers at Blue Springs State Park are pleading with visitors not to destroy it after a recent case of vandalism. The park reopened after investing $5 million in improvements. But as you can see in these photos, there's some damage that's been done. Graffiti on the brand new boardwalks, native plants have been dug up, and banks have been eroded by unauthorized digging. To save the future of the park, workers say speak up when you see someone causing damage.
In downtown Orlando, city leaders say they're now in contact with business owners working on a new plan to improve safety without having to end alcohol sales at midnight. Orlando leaders have been toying with this idea. However, the plan has been met with major pushback from businesses who say the early end to the night will cost them too much and will be bad for the city as a whole. The police chief says he sees no other way.
The high-pressure environment does take a toll on our officers' morale. Our officers are experiencing increased levels of burnout and fatigue. We have a duty to keep residents and our visitors safe. As the police department, we have tried everything to curb violence. This time, we really don't see any other viable options.
Everything is happening in the streets. It's not in the venues.
As talks continue, an online petition is also in place, pushing for city leaders to find other solutions. Meantime, a new tool to catch crooks targeting you while you're in downtown Orlando has been approved. Yesterday, city leaders gave the green light to add license plate readers to downtown parking garages. This new technology will cost $150,000. Funding for the project will be split between Orlando Police and the city's parking division.
We now know the world's largest penguins will make their public debut here in Central Florida on Saturday. Here's video of the colony of emperor penguins at SeaWorld Orlando. Now, the penguins moved here from SeaWorld San Diego because the Antarctic penguin habitat has been updated to be much closer to what life is like in the wild for the big birds. SeaWorld pass holders will have early access, and they'll be able to see those penguins on Thursday and Friday.
All right.
Nice.
I wish
I
they
just
could
love
fly.
seeing them all standing there
They're
and looking
so
at each other. They are beautiful.
Just waddling about.
Yes.
The good thing is, not only are they in the cold, so it's
Yes.
hot outside, but they're indoors.
I know,
So
they've
they
got
don't
it
have to deal
made.
with the rain.
Yes, they've got it
They don't
going
have to
on.
hunt.
They don't have to do anything.
Here's your food.
Just look
Right.
cute.
Yeah,
They
I love
are
that.
living the life, and it's always nice to cool down visiting the penguins when you're out at SeaWorld. Here's what we're talking about as we roll you through the day today. Again, we'll be dealing with that triple-digit heat index reading as we head into the afternoon hours, and we're also going to see showers firing up a little bit earlier than they have the last few days and more widespread, bumping our coverage up to about 60% today. And as we are heading into the second week of hurricane season, scanning the Atlantic for you, we are in good shape. 3 tropical waves rolling across the Atlantic basin. Nothing showing any potential of development, so things remain quiet for us. We're also looking at a lot of Saharan dust across the Atlantic basin. Here in our area, that is going to continue lessening for us. So if you have asthma or respiratory issues, it may be a little more pleasant for you outside, but we have more dust on the way as we roll into this weekend, so that will likely impact our air quality and perhaps bring us some haze as well. Here's what it looks like for you right now at 7:18. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando. Pretty start to our day, but we do have some cloud cover hanging around. We are sitting right now at 76 degrees in Orlando. If you are in Bellevue, you're at 73, 72 degrees right now in Reddick, 78 degrees down in Yeehaw Junction. And if you are waking up with us this morning in Wedgefield, you're at 78, and it is 77 in Azalea Park. Here's how it looks as we go hour by hour, so you can go ahead and plan your day. Check out Gus enjoying his day so far today. Now, we are going to see the summertime rules in place, so best bet is get those outdoor plans in early, although our western counties may squeeze out a few isolated showers this morning before the main activity later today. 85 degrees at 11 o'clock, and most of us are still dry at 11 o'clock. Clouds and rain forecast for you, taking you through the afternoon hours. By noon, we start to see that west coast sea breeze coming inland. We've been sparking some heavy showers along I-75 at that time. Our east coast sea breeze sets up by 2 o'clock. Both of those boundaries continue moving inland. By late afternoon, early evening hours, that is when we're looking at that sea breeze collision. Anywhere where you see the orange, the red, the yellow, that's where we're talking about the potential of heavy rain. So we could see some ponding of water on roadways, heavy lightning. We're also looking at that potential of some gusty winds, even some small hail, certainly a possibility for us today. And then by around 9, 10 o'clock, most of us will be dry as we wrap things up. So here's what it looks like for you on the radar right now. Again, starting our day dry. We're seeing a few showers already moving onshore along the west coast of Florida. So again, our western counties may squeeze out a few isolated showers this morning, but the sea breezes really get going later this afternoon. So your high for today in your 7-day forecast, we top out at 93 degrees with rain chances at 60%. Feels like the low 100s. Then we keep our rain chances at 60% for your Wednesday before trimming it back just a little bit as we head into the end of the week and into this weekend with highs in the low 90s and morning lows staying mild. Now let's head to Trooper Steve with a check of the roads.
There are no delays along I-4 this morning. Champions Gate, the sun is in our face this morning as you're headed eastbound, so please drive safely. Put that sun visor down a little bit so you can see what's going on out there. Increase that following distance, no delay. I'm talking you are doing the speed limit all the way through. You'll slow down a little bit right at 535, and the rest of it belongs to you. 535 slow down is gone at 192. So our drive time still sitting in the green, a little bit higher here, 23 minutes, Osceola Parkway to downtown, but at 7:20 on a Tuesday, that's really nice. 408's good. Curry Ford, City of Orlando, no problems, and unincorporated portions of Seminole and Orange. I'm talking East 50, Geneva, even making your way up towards Oviedo and 417, all clear. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Honoring the 49 lives lost at the Pulse nightclub.
At the bottom of the hour, the lasting tributes that remain in place, all as work continues on a permanent memorial.
But first, a sweeping decision leaves medical leaders in sudden shock. Why the Health and Human Services Secretary says he has fired his entire vaccine advisory board.
You're watching News 6 Mornings on this Tuesday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A revolutionary musician and dynamic showman has died at the age of 82.
I believe everything's been said, probably.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Sly Stone passed away Monday after a prolonged battle with COPD. Sly and the family Stone transformed popular music in the 1960s and 70s and beyond with hits like Everyday People, you know that one, Stand, and Family Affair. It was Sly Stone's groundbreaking socially conscious style of funk that earned him a place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
A controversial move by the nation's health secretary. He has now removed every member of a committee that advises the CDC on how to use vaccines. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has dismissed all 17 members of the agency's independent vaccine advisory committee. Kennedy said in the Wall Street Journal that the group is, quote, plagued with conflicts of interest. The move, though, has been met with sharp criticism from many members of the medical community. They say the decision will further fuel distrust in life-saving vaccines. Meanwhile, preparations for this weekend's military parade in D.C. are underway. On Monday, a series of tanks, including Bradley fighting vehicles and self-propelled Howdazers, arrived in Maryland in preparation for the event. Saturday's parade, which will feature nearly 7,000 soldiers in uniform, will honor the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army. Officials estimate that the cost of the parade could be as high as $45 million.
A new study suggests early treatment of children's cavities is the only way to stop progression of dental decay for years. Researchers looked at 1,600 New York City kids ages 5 to 13 who had cavities in one or more teeth. They then applied 2 non-surgical topical treatments twice a year and found both kept most dental decay from worsening. It's estimated kids miss 34 million hours of school every year because of dental emergencies.
Well, breaking news right now, a shooting investigation in Seminole County. We're going to have a live report from that scene with brand new information.
Plus, as many families pinch pennies for current fees, white leaders in one city say they're considering a new fire assessment fee to place on property owners.
And a look at dramatic video as 20 men are arrested in a child sex sting operation. You're watching News 6 Mornings on this Tuesday. Beautiful shot over Daytona Beach. We'll be right back.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. Here's how we are starting things out on your Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando. A little bit of cloud cover and haze hanging around. Otherwise, we're in good shape, sitting at 76 degrees right now in Orlando. 75 if you're stepping out the door in DeLand, and you're checking in Wildwood at 72 degrees. Our highs today again go into the low 90s with rain chances at 60%. Now it's head to Trooper Steve with a check of the roads.
Roadway's doing good this morning. Good morning to you you guys across Central Florida. 417 Redbug Lake Road, north and southbound. On 417, we're clear. Same thing along Redbug. Your map showing here just fine. Even along Tuscaloosa Boulevard northbound all the way up to 419. If you're crossing over 417 this morning, starting to see that westbound delay over on I-4 at Lake Mary Boulevard. Outside of that, we're doing good across the Central Florida area. The news continues next. Remember, get updates on our big stories anytime. Click Orlando.com.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6.
The time is now 7:30 on your Tuesday.
Let's get a check of our top stories breaking right now. Seminole County deputies investigating a deadly shooting. It happened at a home on Forest Lake Drive near Altamont Springs. Deputies just confirmed one person was killed. We'll have a live update from that scene in moments.
One of the co-defendants arrested alongside suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez is out of jail. Sharon Frederick is accused of being part of the same illegal gambling operation that led to Lopez's arrest last week. He remains locked up.
And Palm Bay says it has stopped a massive sewage leak. It was caused by a broken 20-inch pipe near a plant off Clearmont Street. Crews are now working to clean up the smelly mess left behind.
Turning now to the weather. It may be quiet and gorgeous now, but those storm chances are going to be ramping back up as well as the temps.
We're used to it by now. Let's get a check of that forecast and the timing with today's afternoon showers. Meteorologist Julie Broughton is in for Candace.
Yeah, we're pros on those afternoon showers and storms. Looking beautiful right now across much of Central Florida. Here's what it looks like in downtown Orlando. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera. 76 degrees right now with light winds coming in out of the south around 7 miles per hour. If you're along the coast, 75 in New Smyrna Beach. It is 78 degrees in Cocoa Beach and farther inland. We're at 76 in the Villages and 72 if you're in Wildwood. Now, we are going to see showers and storms firing up earlier today than we've seen the last few days. By around noon, we'll start to see some of those showers moving into our western counties, but we'll have plenty of time to heat things up before the rain gets here. Today, we go to a high of 93 in Orlando, 94 in Ocala, and a little bit cooler in our southern coastal areas. You go to a high of 88 degrees in Melbourne. Here's a look at the radar for us right now. We are scanning out dry, but of course, that will change. I'll time that out for you hour by hour coming up. But first, let's get a check of the roads with Trooper Steve.
If you're hitting the roads this morning, 732, things look great out here. 417 north and southbound in Seminole County. All of Seminole, you're clear to 417. And if you're headed southbound into Orange and Osceola County, no delays out here. Lake Jessup looking beautiful this morning. Obviously, I want you to pay attention to the roadway, but maybe roll the windows down, let the air in, take it nice and easy out there. Westbound I-4 by Lake Mary, starting to see a little bit of that buildup, but it's not that bad. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Back to that breaking news alert out of Seminole County. Deputies confirming one person was killed in a shooting. The shooting happened at a home on Lake Forest Drive. It's not far from Altamont Springs, just off of 436. News 6's Mark Lehman is there live with the latest developments. What else are you learning about this, Mark?
Well, we know investigators don't believe this was a random act, and it also appears that more evidence needs to be gathered from this home, which has been surrounded by crime scene tape for nearly 12 hours. And we've seen an evidence marker there in the driveway, and also deputies are watching over this property until crime scene investigators arrived. And the Seminole County Sheriff's Office was called to the scene on Forest Lake Drive around 8 o'clock last night. That's when the victim was found. We're told that person was taken to the hospital, but later pronounced dead. And while deputies say they don't think this was a random act, they're also not saying anything about a possible suspect. We're asking the Sheriff's Office for more details on that, and we're working to get more information on the victim as well. At this point, investigators are only saying that person was an adult. We'll post updates as we get them under this story on clickorlando.com. For now, reporting live in Seminole County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Mark, thanks. Big new developments this morning in the alleged illegal gambling operation that took down Osceola County Sheriff. Another one of the co-defendants in that case walked free on bond last night. But this morning, Marcos Lopez remains locked up as we all wait to find out just when he could post his $1 million bond. News 6's Angie Casada is back live outside the Lake County Jail. And Angie, what's the latest?
Hey, Crystal. So we're learning that Sharon Frederick is one of those 4 co-defendants that prosecutors named in this entire case. Well, she didn't have a lot to say when she came out of these doors just last night. Sharon Federick staying quiet about her alleged involvement in a massive illegal gambling operation that also took down Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez. Both are charged with racketeering, accused of making millions from the operation. Her release follows that of Carol Coate, who bonded out Friday. Two other suspects named in the charging documents, Ying Zhang and Sheldon Weatherholt, are still wanted. All of this comes as Marcos Lopez continues to sit in jail, now on his 6th day behind bars. Meantime, the sheriff's office tells News 6 that executive director Nerva Rodriguez and special events manager Ruben De Jesus have been terminated. A spokesperson wouldn't tell us why, but Rodriguez released a statement yesterday saying, quote, "I have no knowledge of the allegations against the former sheriff, and I'm not involved in that investigation." She added she's grateful for her time serving Osceola County. Now Lopez remains here on a $1 million bond. Before he can get out, he needs to prove that money isn't tied to any criminal operation. Reporting live in Lake County, Angie Casada, News 6.
All right, Angie, thank you. This morning, we're getting a look at dramatic video from Ocala where 20 men were arrested in a child sex sting. Sheriff's office called this Operation Parental Advisory. All the men arrested were charged with traveling to meet a minor, including Joshua Faulkner, a local horse trainer who works with children, and registered sex offender Trevor Hedge, who made a chilling confession during his interrogation.
If your parents were there to warn you about this, I would be the person your parents would tell you not to be involved in.
Investigators say the operation happened May 21st through the 24th and targeted online predators using undercover officers posing as kids. We now know the names of 2 suspects involved in 2 separate deputy-involved shootings. They happened over the weekend, just hours apart. The first shooting happened on Saturday morning, when the sheriff says a deputy tried to talk to Charles St. Fleur near the Save discount store on North Hiawassee Road. Investigators say St. Fleur punched the deputy and reached for a bag that appeared to contain guns, and deputies shot him. He is currently in the hospital. Later that day, deputies responded to a home on North Ortman Drive near the 408 and Old Winter Garden Road. Deputies say when they got there, Terry Washington charged the deputies with a knife, stabbing one before they opened fire, killing him. Investigators say Washington was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Sanford is now the latest city in Central Florida to consider new fire fees for property owners, and it comes at a time when families are already feeling the pinch. News 6's Mark Lehman breaks down how fire assessment fees could impact your wallet and your safety.
With Sanford working to keep up with growing infrastructure needs, leaders are considering a new fire assessment fee to help pay for new fire stations. The fee would be based on the 5-year average capital replacement cost for the fire department, which is about $2.4 million. The cost for the average homeowner would be about $95 each year, which people we spoke with seemed open to.
If a fire breaks out, you'll be paying more than $95 to get everything repaired and done, and life is priceless, so why not do it?
Just last month, Brevard County commissioners voted in favor of a 37% increase in their fire fees to help combat high turnover and low pay. And in Kissimmee, a yearly assessment fee was approved to give firefighters more time off between shifts.
So for work-life balance, for mental and physical health, we've been trying to reduce that work week.
That fee means property owners will pay $150 for each property and an additional 56 cents per $1,000 of improvements. That was passed 4-1, although some residents expressed opposition.
We don't need to be taxed and strangled.
That was Mark Lehman reporting. Sanford city leaders say the fire fee would not be used for operational costs like paying for salaries, but it could free up tax revenue to cover those costs.
All right, let's get you back to the beach. Love the beach in the morning. Very peaceful out there. Meteorologist Julie Broughton has a look at your forecast, and it's a great time to hit the beach.
You know, I've been looking at the camera, just admiring it, and there are lots of folks out there enjoying a nice morning stroll on the beach. Wouldn't that be great? Look how pretty it is right now. 75 degrees. It is feeling a little muggy out there with that mix of sun and clouds, but really just a beautiful blue sky over Daytona Beach. Here's how it looks on the radar for us right now. Not finding any showers in our immediate area, but along the west coast of Florida. Already seeing some rain moving inland, and areas like Denellen, you may be seeing a few sprinkles, and we will keep a few isolated showers in the picture for our western counties early today, but that's not the main rain that's coming. We'll see those afternoon showers and storms firing up earlier for us today than we have the last few days. So if you have outdoor plans, like maybe going to the splash pad or the pool, get those in early. We're looking at rain chances bumping up to 40%, especially across our western counties by 1 o'clock. But look at those temperatures. Our afternoon highs by today go to 93 degrees. Factor in the relative humidity, it will feel like the low 100s, so a great day to cool off. However you can, rain chances up to 60% by 5 o'clock with those sea breeze collisions. Temperatures still at 86 degrees, and the showers and thunderstorms linger for us till around 9 or 10 o'clock today. So do expect at times to see some periods of heavy rain, some gusty winds, even some small hail. Not out of the question for us today. We'll show you how all this looks on your future radar for you coming up in just a few minutes. But first, let's head to Trooper Steve with a check of the roads.
If you're on 417 and cruising over Lake Jessup this morning, it's going to be a nice drive out there. Probably the water's still enough to where you can count all the little gators just sunbathing out there this morning. But right now, things are looking good. Julie looked at me. I counted like 16 the other day as I was crossing. I was looking at the road and the water, so don't worry about it. No crashes out there. Things moving good in Oviedo. Sanford, Lake Mary, you guys look good too with those slight slowdowns if you're headed in the westbound direction. Westbound to downtown, 29 minutes. Yesterday, though, I was in Altamont, cruising along 436 because, man, I was expecting to run into a lot of construction. It was picked up completely in front of the Altamont Mall. You got a bunch of new travel lanes and turn lanes. Looks good. Where it's still hanging out is 434 and 436 out in that right turn lane. So be careful. Please check out clickorlando.com and go for the drive with me. Today, come for the drive at 10. We're going to go cruise I-4 out by the 528 Sand Lake, that soup sandwich that exists out there. Come with me for the drive. I don't want to be alone. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. It is 7:41 right now. Nearly 9 years after the Pulse nightclub tragedy, the city of Orlando continues to try and heal.
And even though a permanent memorial isn't built yet, tributes across Central Florida are keeping the 49 victims front and center. Coming up, the personal reminder one city employee puts up year after year to make sure they're never forgotten.
First, though, the rules when it comes to seat belts on the road. Trooper Steve will be back to break down when you need to buckle up. That's next.
Whoa. It's time for Ask Trooper Steve, where I get to answer some of the questions that you send in to me. And today is that reminder. We're talking about the Florida seatbelt laws. So let's break this down. The seatbelt law is clear, but let's make sure we're on that same page, right? Especially when it comes to kids out there. Everyone, period, in the front seat, you got to wear your seatbelt, regardless of how old you are, all right? And if you're under the age of 18, you're required to buckle up no matter where you're in the car. Makes sense, right? Now let's talk about the little ones. Children 5 and under must be in that proper child restraint system. So something completely separate. That means a car seat or a booster. That's appropriate for their age, size, and of course their weight. Kids 4 must be in a car seat, not just a booster. If your children is 5, then they can move up to that. But keep in mind, size does matter. So sometimes you keep them into the car seat. Adults riding in the back seat over 18 aren't required by law to buckle up, but Let's be real, that doesn't mean you shouldn't, right? In a crash, an unbelted passenger flies all over, can be thrown up front, can cause some injuries to other people. Bottom line, seatbelts save lives, and safety should always come before comfort. If you got a traffic safety question or you just want to hear what I got to say, head on over to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve.
Thanks, Steve. As we approach 9 years since the Pulse nightclub shooting, Orlando is remembering the 49 lives lost with color, compassion, and commitment to never forget. While a permanent memorial is still in the works, tributes across Central Florida continue to stand, including a row of prayer ribbons, a simple, powerful reminder of the heartache and the hope. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez joins us live with more on how these tributes impact our community.
Crystal, it was June of 2016 when those 49 people were killed in an act of terror and violence. Since then, their legacies and names lived on throughout the city with murals and memorials just like this one that represent an Orlando united.
It means a lot for me personally because I lost two good friends at Pulse.
Luis Martinez is among the hundreds of people left with a hole in his heart after the Pulse nightclub tragedy. Every year, he places these ribbons from an artist in Massachusetts outside his office, Orlando City Hall, to honor his 49 angels. The ribbons will be on display until Monday, a temporary reminder of the enormous loss. Since the shooting, the city of Orlando has been planning a memorial at the site set to replace the nightclub. But construction won't start until next year.
As the city prepares to permanently honor the 49 lives lost, over the years, the community has already memorialized them with tributes like this one in Colonial Town Square Park, and with murals like this one that show support for the LGBTQIA community as a whole.
We are inclusive, a welcoming city, and that is something that defines Orlando as a welcoming, internationally known city everywhere.
While the pride colors decorate the city beautiful as a symbol of solidarity, for Martinez, they also remind him and others who have been personally impacted that they aren't alone.
After nine years, continues to be difficult for all the victims' families and survivors, but we are here. We are brothers and sisters. We are supporting each other.
Now, this week, the city of Orlando is organizing the first site visit to Pulse nightclub for families and loved ones of the victims. For the public, they're having the annual remembrance ceremony this Thursday at 5:30 at United Methodist Church in downtown Orlando. Reporting live in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, Stephanie, thank you for that. New this morning, a routine traffic stop in Marion County turned into a dangerous chase and a canine takedown.
He's on him, he's on him. He's got him by the arms. Don't move! Move! He's got the dog.
Deputies say Jerry Gibson took off from a gas station in a stolen tagged car and then bailed. Air One spotted him hiding on a rooftop, but when he ran off again, Canine Cohen was released. Gibson tried to fight the dog off, even jumping on top of him before a deputy tased him. He was arrested on several charges. Canine Cohen is okay. In fact, the sheriff's office said on social media he even got treats for a job well done.
Well, from bold hats to iconic heels, Princess Diana's style is hitting the auction block. More than 100 pieces from her royal closet, including her famed caring dress, are up for grabs June 26th in Beverly Hills. Even a sketch of her wedding gown and a peach hat worn during her honeymoon send-off are a part of the sale. Prices start in the tens of thousands, and a chunk of the profits will go to charity.
That's a rough-looking dress.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're gonna get email.
Email me. You already know
I was
where
about to say I want to try it on.
You want to try that dress on?
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people do want to channel their Princess Diana style. I think a lot of people like her style and try to emulate it a little bit. So
she shook things up.
Yeah, she
did. She really did.
All right. Let's talk about the weather. I know Steve can go on and on. Steve can go on and on about the Royals.
I think she's great. I remember my mom crying and all that stuff. So the other two, I could do without.
Yeah.
The other two, I wonder who you're talking about. Yeah. Let's talk about, save us, Julie, with the weather.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to see some showers. Steve, did you have something to add?
No, not at all.
Okay.
The other two just, you know what I mean.
I know. I remember when I read Prince Harry's book and you were
I lost my
giving
mind.
me a hard time about that. I read everything.
You do. You're equal opportunity.
It's my thing. All right, we'll be tracking some showers and thunderstorms later today. They'll fire up earlier today than we have seen the last couple of days. With that higher coverage, The heat does stick around, though. We'll go into the low to mid 90s, even in some spots, feeling like the triple digits, and the tropics are quiet for us. Here's how it looks as we start things out. It is 7:49, so a decent start to our day, although it is a little on the muggy side, but that's typical this time of year. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando, where we are sitting right now at 76 degrees. It is also 76 if you're in Kissimmee. If you're stepping out the door right now in Wildwood, you're at 73, 78 in Micco, 78 in Melbourne, and 76 right now in Ocala. Look at our hour-by-hour forecast. I mean, this makes everything better when you just see all these beautiful pet photos people send us. Gracie and Marley, they are striking a pose. It looks like their church directory photo, I think. 83 degrees at 10 o'clock, 85 degrees at 11 o'clock. We may see a few isolated showers across our western counties this morning before the main activity starts later today. Radar showing already areas like Denellen starting to see some of those isolated showers. These will wind down for us, and then we'll see our west coast sea breeze firing up and the east coast sea breeze getting in on that, and that brings our rain chances around 60%, but you can see already quite a bit of activity in the Tampa area. Here's how it looks on the clouds and rain forecast. Again, the models have been picking up on those isolated showers generally to the west of I-75 this morning, but watch what happens as we head into the early afternoon hours. So by around lunchtime, we'll really get things going along that west coast sea breeze. Look around I-75 in Sumter County. We could see some pockets of heavy rain around lunchtime. Then as we factor in that daytime heating, the west coast sea breeze comes inland. The east coast sea breeze does get going by around 2 o'clock as well. Then late this afternoon, everything continues propagating toward the east. By 5, 6 o'clock, that's when we're talking about that sea breeze collision. And I think right around 6 o'clock or so, right along I-4, we are talking about the potential of some heavy rain, some gusty winds, even some small hail a possibility for us today. Once we get past sunset, then we'll start to see everything winding down, and that will leave us with partly cloudy skies overnight. So not a bad night if you want to check out the full moon. The strawberry moon is what it's called. That will be most visible overnight tonight. So for today, we go to a high of 93 in Orlando, 93 as well in the Villages. Factor in the relative humidity, feels like the low 100s. Quick look at the tropics. Nothing really to check out for us. We are in good shape in the Atlantic. 7-day forecast keeps rain chances today and tomorrow at 60% before we trim it back, moving into your weekend. Now let's head to proceed with a check of the roads.
All right, we're starting to see our normal hot spots start to see some red. Florida Turnpike northbound down at 192 in the Kissimmee-St. Cloud area, and then in Orange County in our attractions area eastbound along 535, 536, and then Pleasant Hill. You're just now starting to see that northbound delay out of Point Siena. Westbound 408 downtown, you're only running into a quick slowdown around Mills, and outside of that 417 this morning, way up on the north end, all clear with no issues. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. 200 passengers headed to Orlando land in Jacksonville instead. What forced their flight to divert midair and how they finally got to their destination. Right now, the FAA is investigating what caused a scare in the sky for Delta passengers headed to Orlando. Instead of landing in the City Beautiful, their flight was forced to make an emergency landing in Jacksonville after smoke was reported in the cockpit. Officials say no fire was found and no one was hurt. Delta Flight 1576 landed safely at Cecil Airport, and nearly 200 passengers were bused 2 hours to Orlando.
The pilots were calm, the flight attendants were calm. I mean, it just sort of happened. We just sort of landed here.
Delta says it's still looking into what caused the smoke.
The clock is ticking in Tallahassee. Lawmakers are racing to finalize the state budget, with a vote possibly coming as soon as this weekend. After missing their May deadline, House and Senate leaders have until June 18th to strike a deal on next year's spending plan. They say most of the budget is set, but negotiations are still underway on tax cuts and final budget details. Lawmakers say they're focused on keeping Florida's finances strong and ready for whatever comes next.
We have a keen interest in making sure the balance sheet of Florida stays as strong as possible and prepares for difficulties that may come down the road in a way that we never have before.
Final negotiations could wrap up in the next few days. Julie.
We are looking good as we are heading out the door in most spots. This is a nice shot for you from our Daytona Beach sky cam, where you are seeing lots of sunshine, 78 degrees. Most of us in the mid to upper 70s right now, 76 out the door in Orlando. Now we are seeing a few isolated showers moving in from the Gulf Coast, even a little bit of rain to the west of I-75 in Marion County. That's not our main rain. Our main rain comes later today. 60% chance of showers. Highs go to 93 in Orlando. Factor in the relative humidity. Feels like the low 100s. Rain chances today and tomorrow at 60%.
All right, guys, things still looking nice out there this morning. Downtown I-4 Lee Road looking good. East and westbound all clear. Your express lanes and your main line, no problems this morning. Your drive times a little coming up there at Lake Mary. 30 minutes from Lake Mary to downtown, 30 minutes from Champions Gate. So when you compare the two, it's not too bad. We're seeing a mild delay of the Turnpike down in Kissimmee. Other than that, good to go.
All right, like to hear it. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.
Hope you have a great Tuesday. See you.